Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Recruitment Entrepreneurs by Recruit CRM. And today I have with me Louise Archer.
Hi,
And
Sean.
Louise is very unique because Louise doesn't exactly run a recruitment business, but she helps recruitment firms move to a pure play retained search model and helps them, drive operational efficiencies that way. So, Louis,
hmm
just to get started, before we go deep into what you do, can you just tell us a little more about you? Like, where were you? Where did you grow up? Where were you born? Where did you go to school? And how did you end up in the awesome world of recruitment?
Thanks, Sean. So I was born in the UK. I grew up in the UK. I went to school in the UK. Very good school. I was very lucky, very privileged, I guess. My parents worked really, really hard to put us through, me and my brother through really good school
Which part of the UK?
in the northwest, just outside Manchester.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was good. I didn't like the UK very much, though. I was desperate to leave, and I left at about 19, and I didn't go to university because I enjoyed my overseas travels quite a lot. I went and did a ski season and then a summer season, and yeah, I had a good time. But I did end up in recruitment because my mum ran her own agency. As I know, it was similar for you, Sean, too, with your father. So it was always inevitable, I think. And my first job was actually in her agency as a candidate controller, which I always think is a great job title. Um,
What did you do as a candidate controller? Just so
so it was a secretarial temps agency, and I had to, control candidates. So I had to let them in, interview them, test them, and then kind of market them out to the consultants to try and get them placed and help the consultants identify the right ones.
and how old were you when you did this as
The
your
first, I mean, I used to file CVs in the summer holidays when I was sort of, 10, 11. But I think that I used to listen to what was going on and,
Were you getting paid back then? Because I don't think that's
not
legal.
back then, no, no. But the first job, God, I must have been about 16, 17.
Wow,
And I was actually working in the holidays, and then I got that job full time at about 18, 19.
cool.
So
Super young.
yeah, it was good. It was great fun. Learned an awful lot about, the world of recruitment, and it was very fast paced. And that took me into my next position, which was with Hudson HR. It was TMP worldwide. Yeah,
Thinking back to when you were 16, 17, how was the
yeah.
world different back then in terms of the tech you used?
Oh my God. It was, I mean, you'll remember, Sean, it was just a different world, wasn't it? There was, everybody smoked in the office.
Yeah.
There was no
No computers?
email. It was a fax machine that you had to, kind of queue up for, and that was the only way to get the CVs through, to use the fax. And if somebody was ringing in on the fax number, then you couldn't get the CV out. Um, what else was it different? I mean, the databases that we used, I remember the comments that we used to put on people's files, it wouldn't be allowed anymore. If a candidate was, I don't know, not so good or rude, or we could kind of just say whatever we liked, and the database was a place which made us laugh all the time,
And the data,
terribly,
and
very
was
non-PC.
and was the database an actual database or was it just
It
a
was, yeah, it was like an access database, like with the black and then the green.
yeah, 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 yeah. I remember.
Yeah, it was good though. Lots of Rolodexes. We had all the clients were on a Rolodex on everybody's desks. All the CVs were physical, so they were in massive wall of filing cabinets. And by the end of the day, there'd just be CVs everywhere because everyone would be pulling them out. And at the end of the day, I had to file them all and get them all back.
If there was like a fire, you would literally lose your database, right?
Lose everything. Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
that's crazy. That is literally crazy. And how did you and why did you decide to leave that job in your mother's firm to get out?
Um, It was a small firm. There was only, 5 or 6 consultants, and I guess I wanted to progress, and I wanted to see the lights of a bigger business, and I had aspirations. So I wanted to see how it was done in a bigger company at a higher level, because these were, envelope stuffers and warehouse workers. And, sometimes when we were short of candidates, I used to go out into the streets with flyers like, come on, if you're not working, there's a job here, £5 an hour or whatever it was. And that was, real kind of grassroots. So I wanted to work at a higher level and see a more senior end of the market.
Got it. And then what was your second job like? What was the?
So I moved to a business called Hudson, which was TMP Worldwide, very big, global, still very big and very well regarded firm now. And I joined their Manchester team in their HR department. So we hired HR, learning and development, and internal recruitment professionals only within the northwest of the UK, in a very small, small region, a small market with a finite number of clients. And my remit was HR below £40,000 salary
per year? Yeah.
in the northwest, only into manufacturing and distribution companies.
Very, very specific.
Really niche.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. And how was that? How was
It was
that?
brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. What was brilliant about it was not only did I learn, and they formally train you at Hudson. The training is fantastic. The methods and the processes and the techniques that they teach you is just absolutely superb. And of course, their systems were much better, and email came in and all of that. But what it really taught me was HR, and what is HR? What role does it play within an organization, and what role does talent play within an organization?
Back then, as like a young recruiter, did you guys have quotas or billing goals that you had to meet every month?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was very target driven, and my boss was driven. Female as well, which was quite unusual, I suppose, for that time. But in fact, most of the team was female. I think HR can be quite a female environment. I think we had one guy in the team. But yeah, it was very driven. My targets at the time, I can't remember what my target. I mean, I used to smash my targets. I did really well, but it was only about, I used to get like 40k a quarter. So about 40,000 per quarter. So what's that? £160,000 billing a year.
How was your billing quota back then?
That was the billing for me. I was at a low level. I was still junior. I was still a junior consultant.
And
So
so in a firm like this, and in general, right? What would be the multiple like, right? In some firms, in some regions, companies expect consultants to make 3 times their base, or 4 times their base, or twice their base, right? And companies have different structures, right? Some companies have a draw versus some have a guaranteed base salary, and then they get a commission on the sales. What was it? What was it like back then? Because this is quite.
I don't know. I really don't remember. It was a long time ago. That was, what was that, 20 years ago?
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember.
And so the next question is like, how did you go from all of this to starting your own business? And what was your first business the thing you're doing now, where you're helping recruitment?
Yeah,
Or, so this was your,
yeah.
and when did you start it?
So I started this business. Well, the business in the shape it is now in May last year.
Oh wow! So you're less than 8 or 10 months in.
In this model, up until then, for it started to form about, when would it have been? 2 years before that.
Okay.
Maybe 18 months before that. But it wasn't really a business. What had happened was I'd left my last position, which was, ultimately, I ended up in search. I ended up with a retained search business. And when I left that, I was on garden leave, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I knew I probably didn't want to work for anybody again, but I didn't want to set my own business up, because both my parents had grown their own businesses, and I'd seen what it had done to them. You've seen it yourself, I'm sure, Sean. It's your life, isn't it? And I swore I would never do that. And but somebody contacted me I used to work with and said, look, I want you to come and help us. Or come and work for us, because we're not retained. We're completely contingent, and we want you to come and turn us retained. And I sort of refused for quite a long time, but eventually he just said, well, just come and do a few sessions. If you're not going to come and work for us, just do a few sessions. So I did. I did some training for them, and that's how that was born.
And so just so the people watching this understand your model a little more, so if someone watching wants help or wants your services, how does the model work? Do you take like a one-off fee to like help?
Yeah.
transform their business, or is it like a per session? Like, how does that work?
So it's a course over the last 2.5 years, 3 years. I've basically developed a training course
Okay.
that teaches you from beginning to end how to secure work on a retained basis instead of working on a no-win, no-fee. So the course is 6 weeks. It's delivered remotely. It's a one-off fee that's paid on commencement, and you become a member for life. But the core learning I carry out, which is a combination of coaching, live coaching with me, and also the core content which is held in the learning portal.
Okay, so there's a learning portal component of it, and there's actually live sessions with you in this.
Yeah,
And
yeah, exactly.
how many hours of training is this roughly?
It's difficult to say because it depends on the experience. Some of the individuals that do the program are already working on a retained basis. They just want to get better. And many of the individuals have no retained experience at all, and therefore it takes longer. But on average, I say it's about 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours a week for the first 6 weeks. And then after that, there's ongoing live support, which is 2 hours a week, which is optional.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what sort of traction or success have you seen with this model over the past year or two?
Wow, it's phenomenal. I was saying to you before, Sean, most of the individuals that come to me or teams that come to me know that they want to work on a retained basis. They just don't know how to do it. And because what the course does and what I teach you is, because I've done it myself, I've switched from contingent to retain and I've learned how to do it myself, and I've been running searches for myself for the last, I don't know, 7, 8 years. And last year I did 5 searches myself. I know how to do it. And so because it teaches people exactly how to do it, within week 2 or 3, sometimes people are winning projects. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but people get an incredible return on investment. I had an email the other day from one of the participants saying that he'd just won his first retained project. It was week 3, and he'd returned the investment 18 times over in 3 weeks.
That's incredible. And how many people have you put through this program now?
Just under 300.
Wow, that's incredible. In 1 year?
Not even 1 year. We started. The first participant started at the end of June.
Wow. And how are you getting these people? Are you doing like a lot of advertising, or like is it just
we do a fair amount, but I think I do a lot of work on LinkedIn. I do monthly free webinars, so helping people see the benefits of working on a retained basis, helping people understand how, as an overview, and the change that it brings to your business. And that draws a lot of people in, and they think that's a really interesting thing to do. Can you show me how to do it? We do put some money behind advertising on LinkedIn, which is like advertising the free webinars. A lot of it comes through my LinkedIn organic profile. I guess over the years I've built up quite a good reputation.
You're an influencer now, right?
Am I? I don't know. Maybe.
Like
I'd like to be. I'd like to be.
Cool, right? So you becoming a brand yourself, right? And attracting.
Yeah, I'm quite evangelistic about the retain model. I worked for years and years and years on a contingent basis, and I fell out of love with recruitment because of the contingent model. And it wasn't until I learned that there was a different way of working that didn't need to be executive and it didn't need to be senior that I fell back in love with recruitment again. So I'm really evangelistic about helping other people do the same thing.
And Louise, what's the goal for the future now? Are you doing this solo today? Are you a one-woman army?
No, well, I have a small team. So there's myself, Sarah, who does our digital, head of digital, Claire, who's our customer success manager, Annette, who does all the finance, and Ben, who does all our editing and tech.
Are these all full-time employees, or are they?
No, they're all, well, I suppose partners at the moment.
Understood. And what's the goal? Like, what's the goal in 3 years or 2 years?
Good question. I would like to be, the solution for moving from contingent to retained.
And
I would like
you
to
guys have
be
a
the
number?
one that people go to. Huh?
And so have you guys set up an internal number where you want to train 5,000 people or 10,000 people or do 1 million?
No, that's a good idea. No, I think because it's so new, Sean, and you know, we've only really just started, you know, getting going. That we don't know what the potential is, and we didn't know what the market was like or the hunger for it. And only in the last probably 2 months we've started putting international, you know, clients through the course. So now we've got teams in New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Qatar, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, you know, out into Canada, North America, South America, Africa. And it's only really in the last kind of, you know, 8 weeks really that it's opened my eyes to the opportunity.
No, it's
So I don't really know what the future is.
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, and super excited about this because recruitment is one of those few businesses where the core contingent model isn't set up right.
Mm.
It's because you literally have, you know, some companies abusing it where they give out the same job to 5, 8, 10, you know, firms and literally have them fight it out like mongrels among
Yeah,
each.
but as a client, you know, why not? You know, it's free, you know, and they think that that's probably the best way to go about it, right? They don't necessarily know any different.
Of course, and but the problem is over time it just dilutes the quality of the industry because then everyone is just trying to, you know,
Absolutely.
proverbially throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, right?
Mm,
Versus
exactly.
actually spending time finding the right person for the right role. Uh,
Yes.
but going back into like your story of doing this business, right? Obviously, would you say you're profitable the first year that you've been live?
Well, yes, we only launched the course. I've been running the course for about 2 years face to face, only because you know, that one session, those few sessions that I did all those years ago, 3 years ago, worked. And somebody said, you know what you just did for them? Well, can you do that for me? And then someone else said, hey, I heard about what you did for them. Can you come and do that for me? And so the face-to-face work that I did increased, and I found that I was, you know, getting on a plane to go and deliver sessions in the US and in Europe.
And how did the economics change? Because now you obviously said you charge 5K to do this. Like
Yeah. Oh, it's like
charging a
when I
lot.
was delivering this face-to-face, you know, it was say 15 grand to go through, 15,000 pounds to go, you know, for me to get them to the stage that I can get them now with only, you know, 5 or even 2,000. It's massively reduced the cost.
Yeah, because it takes so much energy, right, for you to
Yeah.
really travel and go and meet them and shake hands and go to their boardroom and do a presentation.
Yeah, and it goes in so much better because what I've done is I've recorded it all to video in exactly the same way that I would do it in the classroom. It's recorded face to face with a film crew. You know, it's really nicely presented. The team that did it is amazing. But I've broken it down into a series of short videos. So instead of sitting in a classroom all day and trying to absorb all the information, you just watch a series of short videos and it's animated and just finding that it's going in so much better. So it takes people less time, it takes me less time, it's more cost effective, and it's incredibly effective.
Like,
So the model has completely changed.
one of the things we'll do is we'll actually include the link to your
Oh, thank you.
free webinars. I think you said you run free webinars every.
Yeah, free webinars every month. Yeah,
We'll add that link on this podcast, so if anyone watching is interested, they can click on it and learn.
fabulous. Yeah, it'd be really useful for people to watch them. Yeah, hopefully.
And then maybe you'll actually get some of our clients and hopefully we'll make more money moving to a retained model, right? We just want our clients to make more money. Uh, but going on, just a few closing questions now, right?
Mm,
Uh, because you've talked to a lot of these firms that are now moving or transitioning
mm,
from a contingent to a retained model,
mm.
obviously we can't like you can't do the entire course in a minute, but if you had to say the 2 or 3 big changes a firm can make in their approach, what would they be to move to a retained model? What's some of the basic stuff that people just don't do that they should?
Um, explain to their clients that in order to deliver in order to apply the time and the resources necessary to make sure that you can reach a result, it's necessary to have some financial commitment from the client.
Got it.
That's the biggest message that I can send to people working on a contingent basis right now.
You have to say that you need to tell your clients that they need to be aligned with you and financially, so that you're both on the same boat and you're both trying to achieve the same thing.
Well, I think what my explanation is kind of touches on what you said before about clients thinking that they're going to get the best service by putting it out to 8 different agencies. And actually what happens is you get the reverse of that. You actually dilute the effort that you get from every agency because it goes to the bottom of everybody's list.
Yeah.
And so the biggest, piece of advice that I can give to your clients is educating their clients that is what happens when they go out to multiple agencies, and that it isn't the solution for getting A, the best service, or B, the best result. And actually, whether it's them or whether it's somebody else that they choose, finding a partner that has the expertise and is going to apply the time and resources necessary, and importantly, to commit to working with them until they reach a result, requires some financial commitment in order to do that. But it doesn't need to cost any more. You don't need to charge your clients any more for working on a retained basis. It's just a change in model, in payment model.
Yeah, it's just the time they're paying you, right? Versus the amount they're paying you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some financial commitment on commencement of the project allows us to apply a robust process, and importantly to commit until it's filled, and that is the biggest difference. So if your clients can ask their clients for that and explain that to them, then that's my biggest takeaway.
And you normally also get your clients to like maybe put a money back guarantee in their product, so if they take 10% up front.
Sometimes, only as a last resort though. If you've pitched retained properly and you've pitched it well, then you shouldn't need to do that. And that's what I teach people how to do. I don't advise having a reimbursable retained service because you might as well be working contingently. There's no point in taking that financial commitment if your intention is to reimburse it at the drop of a hat.
Yep. Totally makes sense. I like how confident you are about the retained model. I think everyone, right? I think sometimes just people are just scared to ask. Right?
I think they are, but the reason they're scared to ask is because they don't know what the benefit is to the client.
Yep.
They think that it's only a benefit to them.
But it's not. That's not
It's
true.
not, because in return for that commitment, you can commit to working with that client until the position is filled. And you can't do that on a contingent basis. And that's what the client buys. The client will buy your commitment and your expertise to stand by them until that position is filled.
Brilliant. Love it. I think this session is going to be useful to people.
I hope so. I hope so.
Because we have a lot of clients that both do executive search and some do retained, and most do contingency. And we just see the amount of stress that's less.
Yeah.
When you don't have to worry about like desperately closing a position and waiting to get paid on an invoice, because it just just spoils your life.
Yeah, it does.
So to finish up, right? This was a great session. To finish up, 2 final questions.
Okay.
One is where are you in life right now? Are you married? Do you have kids? Do you have a dog? Do you have a cat? Boyfriend? Where are you at?
Yeah, that's nice. I am married. I'm married. I have we have 3 children between us. One is Ian's from a previous marriage. We have a dog, a cat, and 2 chickens.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's only possible because you're not living in the heart of London, right? Like
Yes, probably. Yeah. I don't live in the heart of London. I now live out in the countryside in Cheshire, which is lovely, beautiful.
That's amazing. And last question before we close up: what's your advice to your 20-year-old self? Like if you went back to the young Lou, what would you tell her? Anything.
It's going to sound like a cliche, but I'm gonna say, have faith in yourself. I was very nervous of my own ability, and I constantly thought that other people were better than me. And as you grow up and as you see the way that other people are working, you realize actually
they're not.
I'm not bad at all. I'm a bloody hard worker and I apply myself well, and I should give myself some credit for that, and I didn't for many years. So I'd go back and say that, I think.
Brilliant. And guys, that is it with this episode of Recruitment Entrepreneurs. And Lou's last words were have more confidence in yourself and believe in yourself
Yeah.
because you can do more than you think you can.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lou, for doing this. We really appreciate it. I'm sure
Pleasure.
Sense does too. Cheers.